Hi, my name's John T. Reed. I'm a book author, how-to book author. JohnTReed.com is my website. Recently, I got interested in home self-defense because of that McCluskey incident in St. Louis. It was on national TV. So one of the things I bought was a pistol. This is a Glock 17. And one of the things that I discovered about this is visual, so I'm making a YouTube of it for my readers. Normally, the way when you put a new magazine in this thing, you have to do what's called racking it, like that. That picks up the top bullet off the magazine, puts it in the barrel, firing chamber, and there's not a hammer in here, but there's a plunger that gets pushed back, and that plunger is what, when you pull the trigger, that plunger is what goes forward and shoots the bullet off. So anyway, that movement that I just did, I have to, let me reopen this for safety. You check to make sure there's no bullet, no magazine. So it's cocked. You can see the trigger there. Now that would have shot the bullet if there was one in there. So the normal way you cock this thing, rack it, is what I just showed you. You take hold of it with your non-dominant hand, you grab and hold of the top, you pull it all the way back and let it go. And it's a U-shaped piece of metal here. It's called a slide, this thing. And the bottom doesn't go back. So you got to hold it like this. You can't do this. So this is awkward. You know, you're just gripping it like a vice. Pull it back, head cocks it, and you're ready to shoot. I learned how to do that at a front sight course in Las Vegas. Front sight, they train you to use firearms in defense. So I did that for 4 days there. That's why I can do it. My wife also did it when we were there 10 years ago. But she finds this a little more difficult now because you're making a vice grip, pulling it back. It's a kind of a cross that you would do on a cable machine in the gym. So it's difficult. So I researched it a little bit, and I found that there are 4 devices you can get that you can put on the back of the gun to make that so you don't have to do it this way. Now the device that I got is a ring. Now the back of this gun, there's a video on TV by Lenny McGill, who owns the Glock store, and he shows you exactly how to install this thing. You can buy it from him, and then how to install it. This little piece used to be on the back of the gun. So this spot here where this ring is, used to be this piece. This is a piece of plastic. This ring is aluminum. Watch Lenny McGill learn how to do it, but you field strip the gun, which means you take this thing off the top, this slide, and basically there's a spring pushing up, holding this little piece in place. It's not glued in or screwed in or anything. So you have to open it up and push the spring down to loosen it, and then you slowly slide that piece. It just slides out. You have to be careful because there's a lot of little springs in there that go flying out of the gun. So I did that very slowly, and then I put this thing in, and again you have to hold the spring down to slide this in, and I did that, and it worked. I did have a little trouble putting the gun back together afterward. Basically, it looked like that when it was coming back, it bumped into something that was here, and I had to push the back of the slide a little bit this way for it to get in, and ever since I did that, it's fine. But there you can see, now I just did that racking the traditional way. When you have the ring in, you just do that. It's easier. Now this 16, 17 pounds that you have to exert. If you hang this up and put weight on it until it comes back as far as it should, you have to hang around 17 pounds of weight on there. Plus it's an awkward maneuver when you do it this way. But this way, you manage to keep the gun pointed down range, as they say, toward the enemy or toward the targets in a shooting range. And you've got your fingers, your eyes all pointed down range. You pull it back and you're done. Also, I think there's a danger if there's any kind of moisture, perspiration, rain, uh, whatever. This you like slip here. You're not going to slip with the ring. You put your finger through the ring. As long as you put a little curl in your finger, you're not going to slip. So you can buy several other devices. One of them makes this wider, so this flares out here. So instead of being straight, this gets fatter at the back. You can also get a piece, and all these things, some of them go in the same way as this ring did. You take that little black back plate off and slide these in. Another one is like a crossbar that goes in here, and again, you're not going to slip when you push that back. And I'm trying to think what the third one is. Oh, it attaches on the outside instead of sliding in like this does. It attaches on the outside of the existing gun, and you keep this original piece there. Anyway, those three things basically make the back of the gun here, the back of the slide, fatter than the slide itself, so that you won't slip off it. You can also, there's a spring in here called a recoil spring. That's what you're pushing against with the 17 pounds pressure. And you can get weaker springs to put in. Now, it seems to me that might adversely affect jams or something. I'm not sure. You know, the recoil spring is partly so that you don't get the ever-loving crap jolted out of you when you fire it. You know, it absorbs some of the recoil. But anyway, you can get weaker springs if you have trouble racking. You can get these devices like the ring or the crossbar or the fatter back end that make it harder to slip off this. Or you can get the weaker springs, or maybe a combination of the weaker spring and the ring. But I really like the ring. I think this is a more intelligent design than this. And I have a suspicion. When I was a kid, the 50s or 60s, I forget when, there was a cowboy show. And the cowboy in question, the hero of the series, he had this is a semi-automatic, he had a revolver, a 6-shooter. But you know, there's a hammer you can pull back with your thumb on a 6-shooter, especially single action where you have to do that. And this cowboy hero, he had the hammer modified. So it was much enlarged, and it was wider, and it was smooth. A lot of hammers, they have like lines that are kind of rough on your finger. And the guy could shoot it by doing this. He could turn that cowboy 6-shooter into a machine gun by yanking that hammer back. And I wonder if maybe this routine is a vestige of that cowboy hero who used to shoot, you know, from the hip and boom, boom, boom. So he's firing off 6 shots like this thing is a machine gun by fanning it, they called it. So I wonder if this routine is not a vestige of fanning from that cowboy TV show. But anyway, this is awkward. It's difficult. Another thing is when you do the ring, everything's downfield, your eyes, your hands, your gun. When you do the racking, you have a tendency to want to turn your gun parallel to your body, because then you get more strength. So you really, on a firing range, or if your wife is standing next to you in a gunfight like Mr. McCluskey, when you need to rack it, you might want to turn sideways so you keep it pointed down range and not at your spouse or a friend or an innocent person. So the need or the tendency to turn this thing sideways to rack it it's not good. So I think this is a good design feature, and that maybe all the guns ought to have this. I can do it without it, but I think I'll get one anyway for myself, because it's just a more sensible design, it seems to me. A more sensible design. This costs about $50, but I think it just makes sense. And I think sometimes the original design might have been influenced by a cowboy TV show, or maybe, you know, they figured that if you practiced, you could do this quickly and efficiently, and so they stopped trying to improve it. But I think that is better than this, so I recommend you get it if you have a semi-automatic pistol like this, where this thing is available. So, John T. Reed's my name. Thanks for watching.